Well, my dear Bulas and Beras, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a Green Dildo Tuesday, and I'm absolutely loving it, baby, in my face, and plenty to talk about on Bitcoin as we do follow up on our short-term and long-term targets. Actually, all of them being hit yesterday, right around that $17,000 mark. So with that in mind, big focus on the higher-term timeframes today, and actually a little bit on the traditional markets as well, which was helping out the short-term and medium-term buys yesterday. So with that in mind, let's put the focus over here in the Krown application, which we found at app.krowng.net. And we see a couple of very interesting things now, don't we? Bitcoin breaking out of the top side of the range, of course. And what do we see on Bitcoin dominance? We see Krown stuttering like a fool. Jesus, man, sorry about that. I know it's annoying. It's annoying for myself as well. But yes, looking at it right there, heading back up to about 65%. So as Bitcoin does essentially break these regions, you are essentially seeing what we've been seeing for the past 3 months now, where anytime that Bitcoin moves instead of ranges, altcoins get hurt essentially. So with that in mind, probably not looking too good for the altcoins at the current moment in time. Open interest also further solidifying this move as well. We see it break above that 2.8 billion marker that we laid out yesterday. And again, we don't really have like too much historical data for this. So we don't really have like a great way of getting the next the next proverbial range. But for what it's worth right now, just pay attention to it, as I'm sure it will over time start to reveal itself in line with the price action range correlated with the open interest. On top of that, we do see fear and greed index, which is very interesting right here, actually coming down 4 points from a 90 to an 86. I would have not expected that at all. In fact, everyone's not bullish enough. Get your fucking green dildos out, baby. It's 17,000 again. Don't you know moon boobs are right around the corner? Elsa's already picking out her titties right now, and I am I'm not looking forward to the sag that's about to come. Anyways, looking at the global funny rate, let's just go down here and see what we got. Still, everyone operating kind of at parity, 0.01% for OKX, Bybit, BitMEX, Huobi, and Binance. Very interesting right there. Even FTX, which was one of the outliers, not even above 0.1%, but damn close, 0.08%. But that's still just the first warning sign that I'd be looking for. I really want to see the majority of these exchanges get above that region before I start looking for, major tops, so to speak, as that has been the trend in the past. Even Finex posting a bit of a negative rate, but that's not necessarily the same thing, because we, you do have to borrow there. It's not free. It's not like BitMEX or Bybit in the same way that you just trade peer-to-peer. Anyways, let's go into the actual price charts themselves. We'll start it off with the 3-day today, because that was the big focus on yesterday's analysis, as we did close above the top side trailing band right there. And essentially yesterday was, or in the days prior, like the whole last 3-4 days, I believe it was, the bias was bullish as long as Bitcoin essentially just retains these higher lows. And I believe yesterday that critical point was about 15,850. Looks good to me. And that just more or less further and floaty to the upside. But as it stands right now, we actually did close the 3-day dildo back above the topside trailing band once again. Fuck, I forgot to make some announcements. Jesus Christ, man. Krown, get your head straight. Sorry, I'm lulled into sleep by all of these green. Oh my God, there's just so much green. Anyways, yes. So if you do want to join the Discord community, I've been getting a lot of questions about this. I've created a video that is the channel video. All you have to do is, or I think if you're already subscribed, you just go to the channel homepage and it'll be the first video that automatically plays. Also, if you're in the TA program and actually the options program, there's a new video for you. If you're in the TA program, there's actually several new videos for you. One of them being a whole new section of live trades. Now, don't be alarmed by that. They actually used to be on YouTube, but I had to take them down from YouTube, and now they're just in the program. And then the new video is there for your liking. It's going to be a lot more relevant to options traders, dealing with volatility metrics. But I would definitely reference it if that sounds like it's up your alley. Anyways, looking at the 3-day right here, yes, we did close above the top side trailing band, and it does progress once again to about 17,150. So while I am looking at this as likely to get another try to the upside, I do start to look at 17,150 as a nice pivot. Why is that? Well, it actually naturally lines up with one of the fib extensions that we're looking for right on over here as well. Hey, pull me back. There we go. Yeah, the 2.272 right here is actually just a little bit above there. So creating a range between about 7,150 and 17,250. Saying all these numbers a little bit too dry right there, but you get what I'm saying. And more importantly, I would be looking for a little bit of toppy behavior within that region. As it is right now, I mean, Bitcoin's still looking quite girthy and meaty, and probably does give another try the upside. But I would have cautionary details around this region right here. Again, about 17.2 to 17.3, we'll call it. I think that's just a little bit easier to say, although it doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue. And I'll mark it off with a nice horizontal right here as well. And what essentially is the bias for that getting hit, or what needs to be met, as long as Bitcoin's essentially just above 16,300 now, which I believe was yesterday's critical closure on the Challenger bands. Actually, yes, looking at it right here, and I probably would be looking for a backfill on this at some point during this week, back down to about 16,350 or maybe 16.4, but I would be looking for a bounce back up on the first pass. For right now, essentially range as the 3-day does show, 17, let's just call it 17.2 to the upside, and 16.4 to the downside, we'll call it. So as long as Bitcoin's just kind of moving within that range, it hasn't really done anything too crazy. But here's the next big piece of price action, and we're gonna have to wait I guess 3 days for this, which is not just be the 3-day total closure for spot price action, but also the weekly closure for CMEs. Both pretty important stuff, especially with regards to CMEs. And as long as we are below the top side Challenger band, I would start to look at this as perhaps putting in a top. I will not call a top on Bitcoin in any way, shape, or form, as long as we're closing at the very least 3-day dildos above the top side Challenger band, and even weeklies above that area as well. Now, the weekly is going to be a little more lenient here, seeing as we just started obviously, and we just bounced off the top end of it at basically 16,000 bucks. So as you can see, things are going to take time. But one thing before the next, and the first domino would be the 3-day dildos right here. So if we do close this next one below, which again is not closing today, it won't close until I believe Friday. Let me double check on that. That would be the 20th of November. And we are on the 17th, and the 20th, yes, is Friday. So indeed, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If that condition were to be met, where we do close below about 17,200, I believe it is, then yes, I would be looking at this as potentially putting in a top as it stands. But I need to see the weekly follow through after that, and as you can see, that's a little bit unlikely from where we're at right now. So if it is going to happen, it likely takes time. It would probably evolve over the next 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, as we've seen in the past, that when Bitcoin does play out these long form corrections and in downside moves, these bullish dumps, if you will, throughout these mostly just upside markets, it does happen over the course of, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. That's that's 2 months of price action. This one over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, another 2-month one. 1, 2, 3 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here for the reversal, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the reversal right there. This one just gets 1, so fair enough. There is a bit of a range within that, but if we are going off this historically speaking, it typically does take some time. You see another similar one right here too, 1, 2, 3, 4, reversal on the 5th. So with all of that in mind, I am starting to look at this area as rather frothy, but still, I will not call a top until that condition is met. So at the very least, a 3-day needs to close below the top side Challenger band, and then the weekly, and then we can perhaps start to look for greater pullback. Keep in mind, this run's been pretty fucking aggressive thus far. It's essentially been a run that's been unabated all the way from 10,000 bucks to where we are right now at 17,000 bucks. To put that in perspective, I believe that's probably close to about a 73% run. So how many times in Bitcoin history have you put in this big of a run without playing out a even like a 20% correction, which it's pretty fucking big, to be fair. Well, I don't know. We have this one right here, which kind of stands out. That's a 55% run to the upside. However, we've already done more than that. We have this one over here, which is probably not going to be as much as well. This one's like a 44% move to the upside, so no. We have this one over here, which was straight up from this point. That was about a 6% move to the upside, and then followed by, what was this exactly right here? Yeah, 22% move to the downside, and then again to the upside, another to the tune of about 71%. Actually, kind of similar to what we've done thus far. And then over time, takes about 3 months ranging at the highs, and then after that does come down actually pretty significantly, down about 55%. So you can see that of course is a range, and even more immediately it did come down about 35% right here. So make no mistake about it, doesn't look like much on the charts, but 35% move is a 35% move. And we do have a very well documented history of Bitcoin doing such things like this, going back into the 2015 to 2018 run right here. Very similar stuff. Now obviously I've been going over this with the Challenger band signals, where we typically do close above the top side Challenger band. We need to go to a weekly right here for this for a more accurate read. And I don't want to go through all these right here, but we've gotten the same, signal essentially where Bitcoin closed above the topside trolling band and then boom, big move up. First one, 65% right there. We see the same thing right here. Got 24% right there. We got this one right here, about 48 to 50% right there. Pretty damn good. This one over here, another 40%, pretty fucking good. This one over here, a lot more on the lower end, about 16.5%. This one over here, about 100%. You get the idea, and I won't bore you with the details. So it's more of like it's more or less of a range between about 20 and 40%. We'll just cut it to the middle at 30, and that's very similar to what we've seen thus far. Granted, this signal that was given in early October, producing about a 33 and a third and a third move. Now, typically speaking, after those moves, after we do get that next weekly closure below the topside trolling band, like I said, it does take some time. In some cases, up to even like 2 months. But all of these tests actually do come down somewhere around the brown moving average right here. That's just 20 simple. It's nothing too crazy. But all of these moves have, a similar sort of signature to them. This one over here takes about 28% off of price action. This one over here, about 30% off price action. This one over here, about 36% off price action. This one over here, almost 36 again, actually. This one over here, 39. This one over here, 41, 30, or 38. You get my point. We did the same thing over here. We already saw that it was like 35 and 20% right there. So, looking at this right now, if we were to just shave off, let's say 30, maybe 40% off current price action, where would that put Bitcoin around? Well, 30% would put it literally right down around the 20 simple, which is exactly where you see all these lows coming in around the last major run. Also, you can see it supporting price action right here. Same thing in 2019, albeit a little bit less. 21 exponential moving average is going to work a little bit better in this case, but they're more or less going to be very, very similar on the whole anyways. But as you can see, that actually would bring it down right around that region. Now, of course, you can't get wicks lower or higher. I know that it's certainly no secret right now that a lot of people are looking for this $12,000 region, and typically when everyone's looking for the same area, what happens? Well, we either get front ran in this case, maybe a low gets put in somewhere around like 13,000 or 12.9, or we get overshot in the case of maybe shooting down to like 10,000 or 10,500 right here, of which I don't really have a proclivity for which one is would happen if this signature first off was going to even play out, which we have not even seen. Again, the 3-day or the weekly do what we spoke about earlier. This is all just preparation. But if that were to happen, then yes, I'd probably do start to look somewhere down around here, and just understand that this is going to be a very, 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 very volatile area, most likely, just because a lot of people probably thinking very similar things, and not everyone gets to make the money in the market, I suppose. So fair enough. Anyways, let's go into the lower term timeframes now, because there's a lot that's actually happened there, and what can we gather from the 4 hour and going lower there? So looking at 4 hour right here, what do we see? We do see, and this is incredibly interesting right here. This one really, really stands out like a sore thumb. So while Bitcoin did kind of just crawl its way upwards and onwards here, and while I actually do think that it will probably gun for another high on this run, probably somewhere around 7.1 or 7.2 or 7.3, anywhere within that range is fine. Looks good essentially. We do see that historical volatility percentile is actually just in the process of expanding right now. So we spoke about this over the last few days, saying that Monday, Tuesday-ish region, extremely likely to get a move. Yes, we got that, but now we're just seeing this start to expand right here. Typically, at the end of a move, you actually do see it get massively red like this, which obviously we're not doing right now. So I do think that it's very possible that Bitcoin could be spending some time within this region. While I did just kind of spend a lot of time talking about the long-term price action here, it's probably not relevant exactly for right now. There's really not any real reason to be bearish on price action, even from the short-term timeframes, in my opinion, or maybe not short-term, but medium-term timeframes here. As long as we're above about 15,850, the same pivot as yesterday, just your last little higher low right here. Short-term, you can move that up to about 16.3 or 16.4. Let's just call it 16.350 because it's easier to say. 4 hour RSI playing out that hidden bullish divergence right here that we saw. I think I would say that move is largely played out already, and we do see 4 hour Stokes technically still up, but as you can see, there is a competing trend line coming in from the last few highs, and I probably would be looking for it to turn back down on this next one. Now, with that in mind, let's go over to the 3 hour and see what this one's printed as well, because the 4 hour, which does get the more long-term trend, is still bullish here. It's just the Stokes that are actually hinting a little bit of weakness, but that is not a signal in and of itself. And when things are in a strong trend, Stokes Stokes are really not going to operate in that fashion. They do still work. They just take on a different interpretation, which I don't think is as helpful. The RSI is just going to be better when things trend. Anyways, looking at the 3 hour right here, we see basically the same chart, but a little more progressed. HVP is already getting up there to about the actually a 59 percentile, so not bad, or 58, not bad right there. 3 hour Stokes are flip flopping around a bit, and actually would have broke the same trend line that we do see on the 4 hour. So that would actually bode well for the 4 hour as well, just to kind of shoot back above and give another drive higher in 3 hour RSI. Same thing here as well. This one actually showing a little bit of short-term downside, but long-term constructive and good. So, do we play out a little bit of short-term sideways and down here and then try again to the upside? Probably yes. Looking at the 2 hour, what do we see? We basically the same chart once again. 2 hour HVP really expanded now. Not as much as 3 hour, which is kind of interesting. We do see a 2 hour RSI, same thing that I've said on the 4 hour, long-term, very constructive right here. Short-term, could it come back down and actually splay a little bit into the neutral zone? Yes, but that's not very problematic long-term. And then we do see 2 hour Stokes coming down. So the way I'm looking at it right now is that Stokes are kind of getting the more short-term and suggesting maybe a little bit of sideways and down. RSI still says, hey, this is more or less a healthy structure as it is right now. And I'd be looking for that next level to probably be bought. And that would be, once again, at about 16,350, we'll call it. I'll mark it off right here. Let's see. Let me get my nice little horizontals out. Hello, sir. There you are. All right. And I just talked to my charts. It's good. And we put it in right there. And I'll put a nice little blue box in there as well, creating a range between about 16,350 and 16,300 even. So, if Bitcoin does want to play a pullback right around here, it's completely fine. For the short-term timeframes below here, on a short-term timeframe closure, like a 2 hour below 16.3, I would drive targets back down towards 15.8 base. This one starts to actually mean something for the medium term, as it would start to drive targets back down towards the $15,000 base if this area does break. So now we're talking about, almost $1,000 move once again. So I do think that this area is going to take on a greater interpretation. But of course, you have to realize that this whole formation right here, it took some time to play out, right? This ascending triangle just hit its measure move right here, almost to the T, which Krown, it's like, once again, Krown, you're wrong. Every time that I do something like this, I shudder, because I know that someone in the comments can be like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? You said, Krown, that Bitcoin measure move was 16,850, and yesterday we got up to 16,892. Fuck you, you idiot. It's like, okay, well, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. There you go. Anyways, I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, it's also around the 2 spot extension right here for the fibs. And of course, as we went over before, plenty of other historical areas of price action coming around this region. Of note would be the January 2018 major bull trap right here, which is exactly where the bottom end of that, that zone proverbially is. So with that in mind, if I'd call it right now, I'd be looking for a little bit of short-term down, just based off the short-term timeframes, probably back down to maybe like 16.4 or 6, anywhere around 16.4 is fine. And then I'd be looking for another try to the upside, with particular interest on the 2 spot 272 extension, which is also in line with what we saw in the 3-day topside 200 band once again. Did we go over the hourly? I don't think that we did go over the hourly. What's the hourly saying right now? Hourly Stokes already coming down. Hourly RSI is actually, short-term bearish here too. Probably does come down a little bit more. And hourly historical volatility percentile actually redlined it a bit there as well. So we have found our local top on the short-term timeframes, yes. So yeah, I would be looking for some short-term downside here, and then I'd actually be looking for 16.4, 16.3 to bounce it back up, and then we'll come back after that. I feel like while technically speaking, I am still bullish, governed by my system. If I'm just giving my straight up opinion on this, which of course I do not trade my opinion, I do feel like things are getting, quite extended here, and things will happen incredibly fast when they do turn around. So in a little bit more of a serious tone right now, I should say that, yes, technically speaking, I do think that Bitcoin probably gets that next move to the upside, probably does test a little bit in the lower $17,000 region, but we are seeing a lot of warning signals, as we kind of discussed coming into this week. Of course, on all higher term timeframes, we are going to see, momentum also to start to turn down relatively soon. We're going to see daily Stokes, which have actually not turned down just yet. That is so insane. That is so fucking insane. Actually, before we do that, let's go through the medium term timeframes. Let's go back to the 12 hour right here. Okay, so the 12-hour Stokes, right? You can learn all the TN in the world. You can learn all the fucking mathematics in the world. You can learn all the fucking statistics in the world. And what has gotten everything right for the last, what is this, September, October, November, 3 months straight? All you had to do is this, just buy along the 12-hour Stoke trend line right here, getting all the major lows coming out of the last base. I mean, we're talking about all the lows coming in from literally 10,000 even. This low right here, this low right here, this low, I have to match them up right here, this low right here, this low right here, this low right here, and then once again, this low right here. I mean, listen, I do put a lot of weight on it, but very rarely do I see it work out that fucking well. Okay, this is just one of those special times in the market where the market gives you a gift, and it's, you know, I have to reference back to that saying that my mentor gave me, and it was something along the lines of, it works until it don't, essentially, you know, and it comes down to who's operating this market right now, and in whatever they're using. And, you know, in strong trending environments like this, you will naturally find stuff like that. Might not always be with the Stokes, might be with someone else, but you can find you know, little things that just seem to work incredibly well. And the 12-hour Stokes have been pretty damn good to me, and I think a lot of people within this community for the last year and a half as well. So this one just furthering its efficacy there, I suppose. Looking at 12-hour RSI, what do we see? Back in the bullish control zone. By the way, bullish or hidden bullish divergence that we denoted, I believe, yesterday, yeah, it did play out. So nice and well done right there. 12-hour RSI is still bullish. This is not a high right here. It very likely will try another move to the upside. And by the way, 12-hour Stokes are just having another fresh point to the upside as well. We can probably even increase the slope of this trend line here too. Of course, it is getting more. It's, you know, naturally it's going to get more and more aggressive over time. But as you can see right here. Whoops. All right, let's see. I need to go back on over here. All right. But looking at this right here, you know, if it does come back down and test it, every time that it does that, it's, you know, you got to hold your breath a little bit more, just because realistically, when it gets wound up this tight, it becomes more and more likely to break, is what it is. So fair enough. While it is still working, and while it has been working for the last 3 months, this is not going to go on for forever, obviously. But enjoy it while it lasts, I suppose. Anyways, 12-hour historical volatility percentile actually contracting a bit here, which is relatively interesting because we don't see the same thing on the 10-hour. It's very bizarre that the 12-hour seems to be a little bit of an odd man out. It just might not be well suited for a time frame like this, because looking at the very low term time frames, we do see like a very obvious behavior. Looking at the daily, we're still expanding actually. So again, I don't think that the run is done just yet, but I think it's very, 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 very close. And the criteria for looking at a top, in my opinion, is pretty damn set in stone. So as long as those conditions aren't met, I'm happy to be more and more bullish. Right now, I am bullish. I'm looking for more upside. I will not call a top until those conditions are met. Like I said, looking at daily, we do have hidden bullish divergence here too. I'd say a good amount of that's already played out. What do we see on daily Stokes? We already kind of looked at this one. Nice and up. What do we see on daily HVP? Like I said, still expanding a bit here too. Although today really needs to get going. Otherwise we might actually initiate a bit of contraction phase. But typically speaking, you know, you want to see like some red being printed on major highs and major lows. That's typically how you have a good idea. For example, you do see in early September printing red for about a week and a half straight. There's your next major low at 10,000, your next macro low actually. In coronavirus dumps, we got red around there too, marking off the major low right around about 4,500. Right around here. Big bad top being put in before the next dooms drop of about $3,000, printing some red right there. Obviously top at what was it, 13 or 14,000 bucks in 2019, printing some red there too. So, you know, I would be looking for it to likely do something similar on this run as well. And does that mean that things can get a lot crazier? Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, am I being too much of a fucking pussy by looking at this price action as probably going to top out in the low $17,000 region? Daily would say that that's very, very possible. This thing can move quite a fair bit more. Now again, daily Jewel is giving some warning signals here, has not lined up for a perfect sell signal just yet. What I really want to see it on is on CMEs, which is not happening today. I'll put it that way. It's actually still a little bit further away. What about the 12-hour? I think that one was rather close. And no, this is not going to work. Oh my God. Are we going to get another fucking melt up here? This is so crazy. Yeah, the light blue overshooting both the pink and the white right there. No signal. In fact, if anything, that's bullish. I mean, that's a bullish posture with the pink above, or sorry, with the blue above the pink above the white. Really, you want to see it the other way around if you want to be looking for a short on this, which we haven't gotten since way the fuck on over here in August, actually, marking off this high, about $12,500. So fair enough. If I had to call it right now, I guess new highs on the run. New highs on the run, I suppose. Where does this baby stop? Nobody fucking knows at this point. So it's just one of those special times within the market where you get to see some Bitcoin magic, I suppose, as well as pretty much everything else, doing some magical rallies here. Anyways. Do we have anything on the lower term timeframes for CME to be aware of? It looks very similar to what we see on spot price action. I would still look at the lower term timeframes to likely come back down to about 16.3 or 16.4 though, and probably does bounce there. Looking at daily, daily still continuation. Yes, okay, fair enough. What about 2-day? Do we have anything to talk about here? Looks like continuation, 3-day continuation, weekly continuation. Oh my God, this is one of those special times, man. What about on spot price action? I think we're closing this one today. Yes, indeed we are. Looks like continuation to me as it stands. What about 3-day? I don't think that we're closing this one just yet. Yeah, we just opened. Yeah, obviously we just opened one today. So, I probably would be looking for a backfill on last 3-day open, but that's going to very likely bounce it on the first pass. So, take that as you will. Like I said, things are getting pretty fucking aggressive here, but they can go a little bit more. So fair enough. I was having a really good conversation, I think, with who was it? Was it Forster? I think it was Forster. Yeah, talking about picking highs and picking lows, and I alluded to this I think the other day as well. I've seen a lot more people go broke trying to short tops and buy the ultimate lows than I've ever seen people just try to do basically anything else. And why is that? Well, in these strong trending markets, the market, it always goes higher than what you think and always goes lower than what you think as well. And things happen relatively fast. So don't short a dull market, as they used to say. Anyways, okay, cool. So I've just been speaking for 26 minutes on Bitcoin specifically. Let's go over and check out NASDAQ, of which we were having a bit of a bullish bias yesterday. I think back up to about 12.1. Did we get our 12.1 tick? No, 1242. Bastard, motherfucker. How dare you? How dare you not follow the TA? It's like, what comes first, the TA or the price action? Well, obviously the price action, but they're both, well, actually they come at the same time because they're both related to each other. You don't have TA without price action. Then again, do you have price action without TA? Yes, you could. So fair enough. Looking at daily Stokes, looking like they do want to pop back up. Daily RSI is sideways and down here, actually. This one I'd be a lot, again, I'm just not finding it on NASDAQ right here. If anything, I would be bearish on the short-term time frames, probably looking for a move back down to 11.8. Let's go over to SPY futures. They were the obvious ones yesterday, which was making me bullish for new highs. I'd be saying the same thing. Not only do I think it's going to make new highs, I think it's going to make new all-time highs over the next week or two. This is looking very good right here, and I don't really have any reason to believe that it's going to start to topple on over just yet. I suppose my point or my last point of reference would be right around here at about 35.50ish region. As long as it maintains above there, so got that higher low structure and still overall bullish. Short term probably does play out a little bit of downside, but down at 35.80 is no problem. Like I said, 35.50 the magical number on this one, only for the short-term timeframes. For NASDAQ, is it gonna fall SPY? If SPY just continues upwards and onwards, yeah, it very likely will. So fair enough right there. I probably would be looking for it to just follow the leader in this sense, and SPY seems to be the leader at the current moment. What else do we got to look at? Do we want to look all across the markets? Maybe I'll save that for the Forex video. I do want to quickly reference though, like triple Qs. Yeah, triple Q's still bullish. I'd be looking for it to pop back up towards 279.25. So we see a bit of rotations going on right here, but overall the market is going to be headed higher. It looks like NYA. What do we see here? Yeah, new highs on the run. So that would be quite good as well. Actually, this one has, actually it's going to be hitting our long-term target. We said 14,100 like a month or two ago. Almost there, getting damn close. Not bad. What about the Russell? What about the RUT? New highs, new all-time highs. I'd have to, yeah, we are certainly seeing rotations right now. So it seems like the B team is getting rotated to the upside right now, and the A team is kind of like going sideways and taking a little bit of a cool off. And this is how markets work in these, in this this day and age. This is kind of how you keep the whole stock market up at the same time by, rotating down, rotating certain sectors around, but keeping the whole average up essentially. And that's basically the way the market's been working for the last, I don't know, as long as I've been trading for the last like 10 or so years. But probably way longer than that, probably like the last 20 years at the very least. Anyways, let's see what else we want to look at. Maybe Mr. Link, are you going to be following Bitcoin? Yeah, do you think it's going to be following Bitcoin? Short term, still looking at about $13.5. Long term, 15, and then 16.5. Nothing's really changed there. Just kind of slowly but surely following. But yes, short term, I would be bullish on this one. Looking for a move back up to, like I said, about 13.25 to 13.5. What else do we got? We got no uni today for me, sir. No uni for me today. What else can we be looking at here? We got Mr. Buterol right around the corner at 465. Same thing. I'd be looking for short-term move back up to 480-ish region. And long-term, I stick with what I've been saying. I do think that this one heads back on up to, actually, if it even just takes out last week's high, which is just a bit above 480, by the way. It's like 484 about. I'd be extending that run towards past $500. But it's going to be like 520 to 530 actually over time. Over the course of a few weeks. What else do we got? I think that's pretty much it for the shit that I want to be looking at. What about the altcoins? Actually, I do start Cardano versus Bitcoin up, but that's just because it's come down so fucking hard on the daily. And yeah, I'd have to be still bearish on this one, creating a descending triangle on the lows. Oh baby, who's ready for the full retrace? I'm ready for the full retrace. Are you ready for the full retrace? Are you ready for the full retrace, Cardano holders? I am. Well, actually, I'm not, because I don't trade this piece of shit at all. And again, I don't mean to like piss anyone in particular off. It's just, I'm just talking a little bit of shit here about an inanimate object that does not love you, regardless of whether you hold it or not. Of course, I'd never, talk shit about a person who believes in this. That's not my business, man. Maybe you've done more research than me, or which is probably, if you've read like one line of anything about Cardano, then you have, and maybe you know something that I don't. In fact, you probably do. But maybe you have some insider information, at which point whatever I say is at some point just gonna be irrelevant. But as it stands right now, I'd still be looking for the full retrace there, as I am with most altcoin Bitcoin pairings, of which we can just quickly reference Buterol Bitcoin over here. Yeah, absolute garbage, absolute fucking garbage on a weekly. I'd be looking for this one to come back down towards 26.77, and then further over time. This is a god awful chart right here. In fact, if we just go to the monthly, I think this will reveal it all. Yeah, there you go. There you go. The second that it pushes below the 10 symbol on a monthly closure, I'd be looking for this one to come back down towards 2 million base, and maybe even lower than that over time. This is what the real chart looks like. No log bullshit scale for the degens. For linear scale, this is what it, well, that's not really fair, but this is what it actually looks like right here. So fair enough. And yes, I'm still kind of hanging on to what I've been saying. Same thing with Litecoin, Bitcoin over here. Oh, actually, this one's starting to put in a low, but hey, to be fair, it already got the full retrace. So there we go. It did get the full retrace. Came all the way back down towards 36.3. Our last low right here was, yeah, about, within that region, 300,000. So fair enough. This one actually could be reversing right now, though. I mean, daily's still in a heavy downtrend, to be fair. So I might be a little bit premature in calling that, but I imagine we have like significant amounts of regular bullish divergence here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 drives. Probably going to put in a rally there, to be fair. And I'd imagine that probably comes alongside of Bitcoin putting in, a major local high. So fair enough. Anyways, we didn't even look at the care pack over here is what I like to be calling it right now. Care pack showing resistance still around 16.9, but that's only for the 4 hour. What about the daily? Here's what this one would say right now. Jesus, man, oh my God, that is terrifying. That is all the way up at like 18,000 already. Jesus fucking Christ. What about the 12 hour? 12 hour showing, yeah, 17, a little bit north of $17,000. But it's just opening up right now. I mean, as volatility expands from this region, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You really don't get to see this all that often. So I do want to say that if you are in this market right now, understand that we are witnessing something that you really only get to see, a few times a decade, if that. And it's special, man. It's special. Enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it. Anyways, Yeah, I'm not really getting much else off from it right now. Short-term time frame ranges. Do we see 16.4 around here? No, we don't. Not even on the hourly. The hourly is even lower than that right now, but it should start to contract a bit. So fair enough. And I'd imagine that it probably does come in around 16.4 at some point, relatively soonish. So anyways, going back on a Bitcoin over here. I think it's time to wrap this bitch up. Let's wrap this bitch up and send her off in the most respectful way. Of course, we would only do such things like so. And what do we got here? Okay, so with that in mind, what I am looking for is I am still bullish as long as Bitcoin's closing the 3 digits above the topside trend band. And on the last one last night, we did exactly that. So I would extend this run potentially even all the way up to about 17.3-ish region. Or sorry, 17.2. Let me dial this one in. Yeah, about 17.2 to 17.3. That is a topside shoulder band on the 3-day as it stands right now. And if we go back to our regular charts over here, that is in line with the next fib extension, just a little bit further north of that, right at the 2.272. And obviously, historically speaking, that is the topside wick of the last major bull trap that we saw in January 2018 as well. Now, again, we're getting into like uncharted territories right here, so it's really not wise to be using that much historical price action. But those are the last 2 points that matter. Basically, where we are right now, just around $17,000 or 20,000 as it stands. And currently speaking, on the short-term timeframes, would I be looking for a little bit of sideways and down? Probably yes. Within a range between about 16,350 and where we are right now at where Bitcoin topped out thus far at about 16.8. However, I am actually still bullish on this price action short-term. The only way that I start to turn around even short-term for a short-term move to the downside is with a 2-hour delta closure below 16.3. If that happens, I would extend the run all the way down to about 15.8 or 15.9. So that is a $400 to $500 move right there. Which in my opinion is significant. Below 15.8 on a 2-hour or 4-hour closure as well, I would extend that almost another $1,000 to the downside, and this would really start to look like an actual top being put in place right now. But as it stands, given my rules, I do have to be bullish for myself. Of course, it's not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do believe that as long as we are above 16,350, I'm essentially looking for that 17.2 area to get hit, and then potentially maybe another high being put in right there. However, again, as long as Bitcoin's closing 3 days above the topside shoulder band on the 3-day, I'm still looking for new highs, and I will not call a top on this run until at the very least that happens. And then more importantly, even more importantly than that, I want to see the weekly do the same thing. And the weekly is not in danger of doing that at all whatsoever as it stands right now. Referencing the topside shoulder band currently, $16,000. We're a healthy $650 above it right now, which means absolutely nothing because it is Bitcoin and does move absolutely crazy. And Sleeping Beauty is up. And guess what? Moon boobs are coming to you soon. All right. With that said, I think it's time for me to shut this baby off. I'd like to wish you the best one more time. Take care. And until next time.